What is up, guys? Welcome to the video. Martin Shred here. So today I thought about making a video a little different from the usual videos that I make, and since I already mentioned that surfing was a big thing in my life, I figured that it was about time that I presented to you guys with my surfboard collection. This has been quite the road, although that I'm pretty new to surfing. I have been only surfing for about almost 2 years right now. I already have quite some history as to the boards that I own and that I bought in my experience with them, and so I'm here to present to you guys my opinions on them and what actually evolved into what it is today. So stay tuned for that. So this one right here, this is where it all started, guys. This is a NoLogo 6'4" board, and as you can see, it's a PU board, meaning polyurethane, and it has quite some dings on it because I actually mashed it into some rocks the other day when I was surfing with my little brother. He has one right here. I don't know if you can see it, but as you can see, this was the board that I actually started out with. It's actually very much taller than I am. It's a 6'4", as I was mentioning earlier, and it is quite heavy, but this was actually the first surfboard that I have ever ridden. And as you can see, it's quite heavy. I can probably hold it with only one hand, and it has quite a bit of a rocker, but it has a lot of surface area, as you can see probably right here. What this allows you to do is like getting to a wave easier, and what actually happens is that since you have so much of a surface area, and this board is actually carrying 36.7 liters in volume, if I'm not mistaken, this actually allows you to catch a lot of waves easily and without much pedal power. And I still remember the day when I first got to stand up on it. I was actually on my third attempt. I'm surfing, and I was only surfing the wide water, and after a few tries I actually managed to stand up, and I can't forget the feeling that I got when I first got my very first wave, guys. Everybody's telling you that you should start on a bigger foamy board, but save yourself the money, save yourself the time. And if you're a lightweight surfer like me, I only weigh about 61 kilos. If you're lightweight like me, just try it out and go immediately for a PU board. Especially if you find a good used PU board, you'll save a lot of money, and you actually end up with a board that you will end up using down the road. And this is what I did. This is the first board that I ever ridden, and it lasted me for quite a bit until I eventually grew out of it and wanted something smaller to surf bigger days, and something that allowed me to transition into doing turns and some basic maneuvers. So yeah, this was my good old 6'4". I still use it for the smaller days, or in some days when I'm not feeling like pedaling a lot. And yeah, it's still going in my quiver for a bit of time now. This one, guys, this is where the fun actually starts. This was the one that I got immediately after my first board. It is quite the step up from the actual other board that I was showing you guys before, but this ended up being my actual go-to board for everyday surfing, anything from chest high to upwards than that. And this is actually Lost Mayhem collaboration with LibTech, and this is actually the Quiver Killer. It's a 5'8" with 29 liters, and as you can see, it is very streamlined, very aggressive looking, and it features actually a rounded pintail or a thumb tail, as you can see right here. And because it has this actual shape of a tail, it actually allows you to adhere better to the face of the wave, especially when the surf is actually quite bigger than usual, and it allows you to get a better grip on it. And especially if the winds are right, you end up having this bigger surface area on the wave, and this pintail will really help you grind that wave and actually adhere better and stick to it when you're trying to maneuver and make your bottom turns and such. I find that this board works particularly well when it is head high, but anything other than that, it just keeps getting better and better. Some of the biggest days that I went to and I took this board, I saw that it actually took off very much easier than, for example, the other boards, probably due to its tail and the streamlined deck that it has, because it has quite a lot of surface area. Even if it doesn't look like it, I can show you just a nose view like this, and as you can see by this deck, it actually has quite a big space to work around. As I said, this is 5'8", but if you look on the other side, it actually has quite a big area to work with. It actually has a 5-fin setup if you actually want to rock it with 5 fins. I usually do it only on a thruster setup, as you can see here. Sometimes I might even try it in a twin fin setup if the days are smaller, but since I got that other Jason rod board, I always stick to that one and go with a thruster on that one as opposed to a twin on this one, and just save this for your average days where you can have more maneuverability and a bigger size wave to work with. Again, this is a 5'8". It's a LibTech collaboration with Lost Mayhem, and the difference is in the construction, as the other boards are PU and epoxy. This is a mixture of a lot of components which I don't know exactly what they are, but as you can see, this board actually has this hexagonal shapes which actually give it a lot of structure and stability, and the actual core of this board is actually closed under pressure, so the inside is at a lower pressure than the outside, and so what this does is give rigidity and stability to the overall board, and actually makes it quite ding proof. I have already let this board fall on concrete by mistake one time, and it did not even get any sort of marks, no dings, no holes, nothing. And it also has this carbon fiber strip along the rails, which actually reinforces it even more. And so, as I was telling you guys, this material makes this my overall board of choice, and hence its name. The Quiver Killer is actually quite versatile. If it is not very small, anything that it's above your smaller days, you're gonna be good for the surf. I actually surfed this board quite a lot, and it ended up being one of my favorite boards probably of all time, and I will probably keep it for a long time as well. This is actually also a very good board for you to take on a surf trip, because it's so resilient and so hard, so well constructed. It doesn't have even a ding, especially in this deck. Like now that I am seeing, actually it doesn't have a single thing on the deck. It's pretty good. And so guys, if you're actually considering getting a board after your beginner's board, just consider these LibTech ones. And again, this is a 5'8", 29 liters. I weigh around 61 kilograms, and this is actually perfect for me. Just keep in mind that since it is this LibTech construction, it will actually be a bit heavier than, for example, an epoxy construction like my Jason rod board that I'm gonna show you next. And yeah, for tail pads, I usually go for the octopus tail pads. I find that they are actually the best, and as you can see, you have this mixture of these salient three-dimensional squares right here, but it actually has this part where this foam is actually little filaments. And what I find out is that this gives you a greater grip when you're trying to duck dive or just making a turn where you're putting a lot of strength on your back foot. And just so you guys know the kind of grip it has, when I'm doing sometimes some of these duck dives, I actually end up hurting some of my fingers on my foot, because this has so much grip that it sometimes actually rips your toe skin off. So yeah, if you're considering getting a new board for leveling up a Quiver, check out the Quiver Killer by Lost and LibTech. They do this in sizes up to 6'3", I think, and go as low as 5'5", 5'5", I think. So check out their website and consider this board, guys. And yeah. And last but not least, guys, this was the last board that I got for my Quiver. And this was actually custom made. It's a Jason rod, which is an Australian brand, and I had it actually custom made for me. And when I ordered it, I thought of going for a smaller size than I was intending due to recommendation from the shaper that I ordered from. And at first I was intending to make this as my main board, but it actually ended up being my summer groveler board, so to speak, since it performs quite well in waves that are from knee to chest high, that area where it's just summer mushy small waves, and it's actually pretty fun riding those, and it actually catches quite well those very same waves as opposed to my other Lost Mayhem board, which is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, and a little bit with more volume. I know the construction also matters, but for example, this is actually epoxy, and it has the Jason Broad Triflex epoxy, as you can see right here from this stamp. And what this actually does is that it is reinforced epoxy with these carbon rods that as you can see down the deck right here. These lines right here are not just painted on, these are actual carbon rods that actually give it that extra pop to the board and that extra flexibility, along with the resistance to endure some harsh turns whenever you need to do them. And of course, this also has this swallowtail, which allows it to be more flexible, more maneuverable when doing turns, instead of the round pintail in my Lost Mayhem board, which allows you to adhere better when you have a larger surface wave, anything from chest high to head high, overhead, even double overhead, if it happens to be so on that specific day. 5'4", yeah, it's a 5'4", 24.7 liters. It's quite light. I can hold it with just one hand, as you can see here. I usually rock it with a 3-fin. I could possibly do it with a double fin setup, twin fin setup even, just to make it a little bit more agile. But since this board is just so light and maneuverable, it doesn't harm it to actually go for a thruster setup as I usually ride it. I actually have my fins on right here, and it usually works pretty well as an all-rounder summer board. I actually have quite a fun time on this when I go out to the surf, and it's actually very, very small, and this is the one I take when the conditions are like that. It's very fun, very maneuverable. If you happen to find that left side wave that actually allows you to do something, you can even do some quite sick maneuvers on this, and it's actually quite cool. I love the design, as you can see, as it is reinforced with these carbon rods. And yeah, this will be my summer surfboard of choice. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe for more videos in the future, and hopefully I will get to do actual surfing videos with me surfing and some of my pals doing it as well. And so be sure to stay tuned for that, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.